So Google's fresh new Pixel 6 smartphone is one of the more affordable flagships of 2021 thus far, costing you just 600 of your British pounds. And that's despite packing in a bit of upgraded camera action, Google's snazzy new Tensor chipset, and some serious arse action. I mean, whoa, crikey. Now, I've been using the Pixel 6 as my full-time smartphone for a week and a half now, so here is my in-depth review with thoughts on what might be best for you. This little blighter or the significantly more expensive Pro model. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now, I gotta admit, I am still rather gutted that the Pixel 6 is a bigger, heavier handset compared with last year's flagship phone. This 6.4-inch Google blower weighs 207 grams and you'll certainly feel it when it's stashed in your pocket. But sizing aside, I do really like what Google has done here, especially after the decidedly cheapy look and feel of last year's Pixel 5. It's a smart design overall, despite the camera chassis' segmentation and the way that it effortlessly attracts dust and fluff. Yeah, that sure is a big old camera bumper. At least the fact that it stretches all the way across the entire width of the Pixel 6 means that when it is laying down on its back on a desk or a table or something, you're poking and prodding the screen, it doesn't rock about like a mofo. I would recommend grabbing the Sort of Seafoam or the Kind of Coral models if possible though, despite the slightly wanky naming conventions, because they're certainly a lot more exciting than this here stormy black effort. Despite that dark design, the Pixel 6 picks up plenty of smudgy fingerprints as well, so you should definitely be expected to give it a good old buffing every now and then. But the inherent greasiness aside, the fact you've got that Gorilla Glass 6 around back and then Gorilla Glass Victus up front means that not only is it reassuringly drop resistant, but also not a single scratch or scuff or gouge to speak of on those glass surfaces so far after a week and a half of rough handling. And the Pixel 6 is also IP68 water and dust resistant to boot. Now, Android 12 brings a fresh new design to your desktops which looks proper bloody lovely, complete with app icons that can morph to match your geeky anime wallpaper and a more aesthetically pleasing notifications tab. But the real joy of Android 12 of course lies in those fresh new features, especially those fueled by the Tensor chipset's advanced speech processing powers. Possibly one of the best examples of this I haven't actually had a chance to check out yet because it's not actually on here just yet, but it's the new call screen feature which is coming to the UK as well as the US. And apparently you'll be able to activate this with just a quick tap whenever some unknown caller is bothering you. The Pixel 6 will then say, "Oi, what do you actually want?" and then it will feed you back a transcription of what their response is, at which point you can then decide whether to hang up on them or actually take their call. I really enjoyed testing out the type voice command for dictating messages when your hands are busy. This is brilliant when driving, complete with emoji support and accurate auto punctuation that occasionally does get a bit American, throwing in pointless exclamation marks that just make you sound sarcastic. But whatever, apart from that, it's really good. And I know that sounds sarcastic, but I really do mean it. It is proper good. And the Pixel 6's camera can also live translate any signs or menus in a foreign language, which I'd imagine will come in really handy when I actually go further afield for my holidays than Penge. Android 12 heralds a big step up for security and privacy, and not just with the call screen feature, which I haven't tried out yet. The brand new Security Hub also gives you easy access to all of your privacy settings and can point out any possible issues that you might want to sort out rather pronto. I found this incredibly useful, especially the bit which points out any devices that you're currently signed into with your Google account that you might want to sign out of. Actually gives you the option of doing that remotely as well, which is fantastic, particularly when your job involves reviewing an awful lot of tech. The Tensor chipset has a separate security core for running all of your sensitive tasks well out of sight. You've also got that Titan M2 security chip as well for storing all of your confidential data. And of course, Google is guaranteeing 5 years of security updates, so you are set for the foreseeable. So if you happen to be constantly concerned about scheming cocksocks targeting your smartphone or your Google account, well, this is one of the most reassuringly well-protected phones that you can buy. You can also completely kill the mic and the camera from the Pixel 6's notifications bar, while a handy warning will flash up if any app starts using the cam or the mic, so you know when you're being watched or listened to. That is beyond the usual Google Assistant shenanigans, of course. And Android also apparently now includes built-in phishing detection, which can pick up on potentially dodgy messages, although I'm buggered if I could get this to work. It may just be a case of, like the call screen and feature, that little update hasn't pinged through to my Pixel 6 just yet. But that aside, I found that the Android experience here on the Pixel 6 was just like slapping on 3 rubber johnnies at once. Next level protection, just to be sure. The Pixel 6's optical fingerprint sensor makes sure that it's definitely you poking the screen, and if your hands are a bit damp or mucky, then it usually does fail or require a couple of extra pokes. Certainly would have been nice to have face unlock as a backup, but hey ho, never mind. As for the storage, well, it's UFS 3.1, you've got a choice of either 128 or 256 gigs, so a good bit of space on there. But of course, if you are going to be shooting a lot of photo and video, it would have been nice to have some micro SD memory card support on this thing. Sadly, no such luck, so you're either going to have to constantly back up yourself, otherwise rely on the good old cloud. Now, no complaints at all with Google's 6.4-inch OLED screen, which lacks the Quad HD Plus resolution of the Pro model, but it still pumps out crisp, crystal clear visuals with its 2400 by 1080 pixel setup. You can expect natural looking images when streaming HDR content, otherwise the Pixel 6 can also spaff out super vivid colours right at your peepers when you're enjoying some anime or some other bright and punchy fare. And the brightness levels of that screen scale all the way from super dim for some nice comfortable, easy on the eye, even in viewing experiences, all the way up to super powerfully punchy bright for when the sun finally does poke its face out from behind the several layers of dark cloud. And while the refresh range isn't quite as strong as the Pixel 6 Pro, you do automatically get scaled up to 90Hz when you're playing around with a supported app. And the Pixel 6's stereo speakers are loud as f***ing on top volume without any compromise to that clarity. It's very impressive output, perfect for outdoors use, and also annoying the piss out of grannies on the bus. And no worries with that bit of Bluetooth 5.2 action either. I found that the Bluetooth streaming here on the Pixel 6 was perfectly dependable, no cutouts or anything, even in some action-packed central London areas, which is just as well because there's bugger all headphone jack action here. So let's move on to performance, and of course the fresh new Google Tensor chipset which powers proceedings here has been designed with the likes of machine learning and image processing in mind, but how does it actually handle just everyday shenanigans and a good bit of gaming? Well, I found that the Pixel 6 coped perfectly well even with loads of apps running at once, flipping between them all and also streaming audio while browsing the web and messaging, lots of stuff all at the same time, a blissfully smooth experience throughout. And the Pixel 6's 90Hz display means that flipping around in Android 12 feels fantastically fluid, as does using supported apps. And yeah, I did see a bit of funny behaviour out of the Pixel 6 when I first started testing it out just over a week ago. So for instance, a couple of times I would load up the camera app and I'd just be presented with a perfectly black screen, which wouldn't do anything until I shut down the camera app, and then it would be magically working again. Thankfully, these little quirks and bugs, they only lasted for a few days, and I've had a couple of over-the-air updates since then, and touch wood, the last few days the Pixel 6 has been behaving itself perfectly. However, while the Pixel 6's 20-core GPU can easily handle games like Call of Duty Mobile and PUBG, maintaining a smooth high frame rate throughout an intense and bloody match, I did notice that the phone struggles somewhat with more demanding fare like Genshin Impact, especially when I boosted those detail settings and the frame rate. Performance drops were surprisingly common, while I also noticed that the arse end of the Pixel 6 got rather toasty after around 30 to 40 minutes of playtime. So if you are a serious gamer, you might want to try the Pro model instead, which definitely doesn't suffer like this, possibly as it's less compact so the chipset can stay cooler, or possibly because you get an extra 4 gigs of DDR5 RAM stuffed in there. Oh, and it is of course mildly exciting that Android finally has a built-in gaming mode, something that's usually added to the OS by manufacturers like Sony, Xiaomi, etc. It's not much of a gaming mode yet, but it does include a Do Not Disturb feature, plus the ability to screenshot or record the action. Here's hoping that the functionality will expand quite considerably with future updates. As for connectivity, well, my British Pixel 6 supported a good bit of sub-6 5G, no troubles on that front, but I believe that some models, including the likes of the US, will have millimeter wave support as well if you actually got that technology out there. You've also got Wi-Fi 6E support here on the Pixel 6, again, no troubles whatsoever with my Wi-Fi connections as long as the actual network wasn't pants, but there is no ultra-wideband tech in here, unlike the Pro model. Now, Google has managed to smush a sizable 4,600 mAh capacity battery inside of the Pixel 6, which is a considerable upgrade over the Pixel 5, and it really shows. Battery life on this thing is just bloody wonderful, helped along no doubt by the energy efficiency of that fresh new Tensor chipset. I found that even if I had a good like 6 to 7 hours of screen on time throughout the day, lots of Skype in action, sat nav, stuff that tends to really drain that battery, good bit of camera play in general of course, I felt like I still ended most days with around 20 to 25% battery life remaining. The lowest I managed to get it was around 12%, and that took some serious friggin' effort. So if you don't spend quite so much time staring at your smartphone or you're a less demanding user, you might be able to squeeze 2 full days out of this thing between charges. As far as the fast charging goes, it's not particularly fast, unfortunately. The Pixel 6 tops off at 30 watts with a wired charger, and yeah, you don't actually get an adapter bundled in the box, which is a bit of a bum. But at least the fact that it doesn't support super crazy fast charging means hopefully the battery life will remain strong over time. And that'll be helped along by the fact that you've got the adaptive charging support in here as well built into Android. It also supports wireless charging as well, the good old Pixel 6. Again, not particularly nippy, 21 watts with the second generation Pixel stand. So most nights I did just slap this thing on the stand and let it trickle charge overnight while I passed out face first on my pillow. Now, one of the bits of the new Pixel 6 that is sure to grab everyone's attention is that camera tech, and not just because it's freaking massive. Google has completely overhauled the camera hardware for the Pixel 6 series, including not just the megapixel count, but also the sensor size of that 50 megapixel primary shooter with built-in optical image stabilization. This improved sensor, working alongside Google's usual software smarts, means incredibly natural looking photos in pretty much any kind of light, from skin tones to more vivid subjects, whatever you're shooting indoors or out. Only in very low light does the Pixel 6 occasionally stumble, especially if you're shooting a mobile subject. And with the new Magic Eraser tool, you can get rid of any gumless stragglers in your photos with just a couple of quick taps. You can swap at any point to the Pixel 6's 12 megapixel ultra-wide angle lens for a more pulled back view, and while the results are occasionally less realistic, usually when shooting in artificial light, the reduced edge distortion makes for a refreshing change. Sadly, there's no telephoto lens on the Pixel 6, unlike the Pro model, but at the 2x digital zoom level, you'll still get crisp, detailed photos. Just don't pinch in any further or you'll end up with something that's about as appealing as a kick in the knackers. You can also shoot 4K video with impressive audio capture and image stabilization, and once again respectable color accuracy, while low light footage thankfully doesn't look completely crap. However, I was less enthused by the gimmicky motion mode, which often pumps out bizarre looking pics, while the Pixel 6's 8 megapixel selfie shooter is somewhat less than brilliant when you're not perfectly illuminated. But anywho, if you do want a proper in-depth look at the Pixel 6's camera tech, we'll definitely check out my full camera review, which is live right now, where I've also compared it with the Pixel 6 Pro to see exactly what the differences are. So that right there is my full, frank, final review of the Pixel 6 after using it as my full-time smartphone for about a week and a half now. And I've got to say, I really do like it, especially some of those fantastic new Android features on there, the slick new redesign, and of course the fact that it costs a serious chunk of change less than many rivals from the likes of Samsung and Apple. And certainly your privacy and security and future update worthiness are all major concerns of yours, then you'll get on very well with the Pixel 6 indeed. The camera tech is pretty good apart from in really testing conditions. Selfie aficionados might be a little bit disappointed, but apart from that, some strong optics all around. Of course, if you were hoping for a telephoto lens or a good bit of gaming action on the likes of Genshin on maxed out detail settings, you might be more tempted by the Pro. I have done a full side-by-side with the Google Pixel 6 and the Google Pixel 6 Pro as well, which will be going live the day after this review drops. But yeah, that's enough of me banging on anyway. Are you tempted by the Pixel 6? It'd be great to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. As I say, if you are tempted, October the 28th, it's available for 600 quid from the Google Store and also pretty much every single UK carrier out there. So yeah, it'd be great to hear your own mini review down below. Please do plug subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a fantastic rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you.